we just talk about the 6 different stakeholders that are recognised in this project and making this project a success, because it takes every single one of those stakeholders to really make this something that's going to be making an impact, and that's what we want. So the first one is the customer themselves, and that's the business owner for us, somebody who can or somebody who's looking for support in digital, and that's digital people, training people up to be digital people within their business, and also solving technical challenges, digital challenges in their business, especially in this current climate where a lot of the team are working from home, using new systems, and that's disrupted so much in terms of how we operate. So the customer, what part are we looking for that customer to play in the successful outcome of actually making this project work?
Yeah, it's one of those ones you look at it. I think if we look at the 3 strands of where we are in terms of the economy, the business, and people, which is really what we're at. As a customer, as an SME owner manager, I want to make sure I can grow my business and be here next year. So, in whatever guise that might be. So what we're looking for from them is an understanding that how do I move my business forward? And where am I today? Where are my problems? Where are my challenges? With a recognition that if you haven't got e-commerce, if you haven't got digital technology, if you haven't got the platforms put together, I don't know if you're going to be here in 2-3 years' time.
Even in the business of selling, people can't just go out and speak to people now. That's in the same way. The networking events of how that's been working is completely changing.
Yeah.
And how we communicate as businesses digitally to prospects, that's all changing.
It is, and I think from where we look at the way that the DFF looks at it in terms of initial engagement is either done through our intermediaries, which we'll get into later, but talking to customers is going to have to be at the moment, and we're sitting here in October 2020, is all going to be online. It's all going to be done through the technology. So, how many Zoom meetings, how many team meetings, how many do we have a week now? We're sitting here in a room 3-4 meters apart, following COVID guidelines. I think we have maybe 1-2 meetings like this a month, if that makes sense. And we don't. We have 3 or 4 meetings almost every day online. And every business is like that. There's a mix. And the smaller you are, the more online meetings you will have, and the less you've got in terms of having your senior management team get together, because you probably haven't got a senior management team. It's just you and probably 1 or 2 others. So there's a huge dynamic shift in terms of, small companies have been pushed into an arena of needing to use technology. Now, home working, I've got 4 of my staff, 5 of my staff, 2 of my staff away in at home, and they need to be set up. But not just set up, they need to be supported. They need to be able to access. They need to be able to do their work. They need to have the right resource and the right level of support. It was a really interesting, and a slight digression on this, interesting that I remember reading in a Harvard Business magazine some years ago when at home working, we were doing it in America, and they recognised that home working sounds great for productivity and this, that, and the other, and it's a reduction of building costs. But within sort of 6 to 9 months, American corporates were realising they need far more resource in terms of support. They need to be contacted into how this works. They need to have some social interaction. They need to be able to make sure that the technology they've got actually worked. And I think we all recognised in March, April, when lockdown came, that people didn't really have the right level of ability to do Zoom meetings. How many times they crashed in the first couple of months? We all sort of thinking this is just...
Well, it's one I saw, they said
work,
at 9 o'clock on Monday morning, they didn't have any conferencing system. Yeah. And then at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the company decided everybody was going to work from home. And all of a sudden, there's a complete seismic shift in how people are operating.
And it's great, you talk to everything from local authorities who basically have a week on, week off. They have a team in 1 week and 1 team works from home. So the whole, they've had to adapt the whole working environment. 50% of the people are actually working from home at any one time. Now you're trying a business with sort of several thousand people to manage that. It takes time, it takes ability, it takes skill sets. But it's the same thing for small companies. I'm sitting here as a business owner myself, and so are you. And it's, well, how have we had to shift? How have we had to adapt? the home working side of things, the access to technology, and have you got the skill sets and abilities? And I sit here going, I have sometimes, but I wouldn't like to say, can I set up Google meetings? Can I set up this? Can I set up that? At a flick of a hat and involve people. It's something we've had to learn. Now, we're all getting to that stage, but going forward, how do we then use social media in a way that is far more effective? We're sitting here talking, doing things on film as a way of having a channel to get the project details across, partly because of COVID, partly because it's a method which actually allows people to interact when they want to. So you've got this huge question which says to business owners, okay, survivability is the number one. Okay, let's take that as read. So where you are in your business, how are you going to survive? Great, have you got that level of survivability? And a lot of companies haven't. So where do we go and how do we help them? Referring into what organisations we can. But for those who have got some level of stability, it's much more around, okay, so what are you going to do when you come out of this? How are you going to get through this for the next 6 to 9 months in terms of making sure the bills are paid, making sure you've still got people there? And then where do you go? How are you going to come out of this, guys? Because if you haven't got a robust digital platform or technology that's all integrated that you can actually use to your advantage, well, thousands of people out there are, and you're going to be left behind. And as we go forward into next year, you're going to have to be able to use technology to promote your business. You're going to have to use your networking analogy was a very good one. Instead of going to a networking event where there's 40, 50 people and you'll pick up on people and some potential new business, how are you going to get that? Because you can't go anywhere. So where are you going to find new clients from? How are you going to do it? Well, there is only one channel at the moment, and it's all through social media. It's all through that positive pushing of getting out to new companies with a message. If you don't understand what your message is, how can you get that message across to people? So there's a whole skill set requirement, coming from people who can actually put the technology into place, from people who can actually manage it for you or run with it for you or work with you to actually develop new streams, new funding, new clients, new abilities. And part of that comes from where we sit in the Digital Future First project to say, look, guys, you recognise that's the challenge, recognise that's the issue. As a customer, we're here to try and broker in potential solutions, which is funded. I mean, the whole program, the DFF program, is funded. So there's no cost to the SME.
You mentioned the funding. There's the funding, and there's just the resourcing of actually getting those people in a position to be able to provide those skill sets within the business that you don't currently have. So if you've got money available, which the government has made available, and we can put that into a context of bringing somebody into business. I think in a lot of ways, the important thing of getting a successful outcome for business owners with apprenticeships and traineeships is that there is a big part of this is down to them.
It is
to support that apprentice with a successful outcome, not just a training provider, because the training provider will do the qualification piece, but actually it's behaviours. And I think with some business owners that we've worked with, there's a lot of frustration around these young people in business. But part of what we're here to do as well is to support business owners with how to actually get a great result out the back of it.
Absolutely.
Because the business owner has a massive part to play in.
They do.
In that way.
And I think a lot of the programs that have worked previously and have not worked previously have been the fact that people focus on what's in it for me rather than what do I need to do to make it work. And I think there's a huge element which says, okay, you can start off as an entry point which says, oh yeah, do you want to have somebody work in your business and the salary's paid for 6 months and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Great, fantastic. I've got no cost. Yeah, okay, that's one part of this three-strand element. The other part is, okay, what are you doing in terms of helping the greater economy? Yeah, I've taken somebody on, I'll put them into my business. Great, that's two. But it all falls over if you as a business owner just say, okay, you're in my business now, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm not too sure now. I think I've got a job for you, but go make a cup of tea while I work it out. And there's got to be the real need for commitment from the employer and a real thing to do first before you then start accessing it. And I think I use apprenticeships as a very good example, which is it can be seen and perceived as I'll just take a young person on, and apprenticeships are for all ages. They're anything from 16 plus right the way through to 60 years old if you want. And I'll just I'll get my qualification. Yes, but you don't recognise the commitment from you is it's having a person working in your business who happens to be an apprentice or an apprenticeship, rather than I've got an apprentice working in my business. So it's the mindset of a business owner to say, I need that person to work in my business because my business has a need to do X. Oh, by the way, there's support around to help you deliver that, rather than the other way around, which is there's lots of support to do something. I'll do that, and I'm not too sure what I'm actually doing with that person. And we're trying to get this across with the DFF project, which is please recognise as a business owner, there is commitment. There is a requirement from your end to support and develop and have it as if I need that as a business anyway. That's what I need. By the way, I'll help you as a broker within DFF to access some additional grants, funding, support, subsidies, whatever you want to talk about, which makes it more economically viable to fulfill that need rather than the other way around. So customers, in terms of owner managers, got a massive job to play. And we have in terms of getting that perception, getting that reality across, which is it's not just access to some funding, support and loads of bits. It's have you got the need first? Oh, by the way, here's how we help.
I think it's a mindset, really, isn't it?
It is.
It's how they are thinking about this. The funding is there to make the impact on the business it's to reduce the impact on the business.
You got it.
It's not to completely take away all the effort.
Yeah.
And the training provider isn't there to completely, remove any responsibility that the business owner's got in terms of making this a successful outcome. The people that work in these positions are going to need support. What you get out the back of it is you get somebody who is going to have been schooled and educated in the way that you think, the way that you like your business to run, and potentially a fantastic asset out the back.
Correct.
Notwithstanding, there's no recruitment fees.
Yeah.
And you're taking that person and the value that when that person's first in the business compared to when they finish their apprenticeship, level 3, 4, going up to level 7, which is
correct.
The apprenticeships, I think, are slightly misunderstood. I think some people who hear the term apprenticeship, who are business owners, I think it's really important that they take the time to look at the different schemes available, because there are lots of different schemes.
There are,
and it's about having the right type of scheme for you.
Correct.
In that business. And the whole point of DFF as well, and I think the uniqueness of it is that it isn't just a training provider in the sense of offering skills in the workforce at a young age. It's actually it's a coming together of the South East Midlands Learning Partnership and European Union funding and local businesses to provide something that essentially tackles the problem of getting the skills and the technology into business. Yeah, it is. And if you look at the figures in terms of the UK skills levels, we're dropping down world league tables bit by bit by bit. So people are chucking money at things, and I go, yeah, it's great to have the support, but it's been taken as the entry point of I've got these freebies and I'll have this, and by the way, I'll have someone on the back of it. And it is a mindset. And, a lot of businesses... Freebies are great. Yeah. The thing is that novelty wears off quite quickly. It does. But and then people don't get things out of it. Reduces that impact to the business if you've got something there which is being supported. It is. And I think, we've had discussions around, what DFF is trying to achieve. And, it is all about educating SME owner managers as to what support is available to help them grow their business. And that's it. So, from our end, have you got a need? Where is your business now? Where are you going to be in a year's time? Do you need an apprentice? Do you understand what it is? Do you need a traineeship? Do you need someone who's on the Kickstart program? Do you need someone who can do some NVQs for the Skill Support for the Work program? Do you just need some general advice about where your business is? This is it, right? I mean, it's impartial. We're not a provider. Correct. We're an impartial broker of services across the commercial sector and also government training sector. It's really to help businesses really tackle the problem of how do they develop themselves. And we've talked before, a lot of the challenges around this is as an owner manager, awareness of what's available, awareness of what I actually need,
And it's very easy to work in a business and not work on the business is a great phrase. Put your head up and actually understand what you're looking at. And, impartiality as a broker, come along and say, hey guys, look, where are you now? Where do you want to be? What are some of the challenges? All right, have you got the skill sets, got the abilities? No, I haven't. Right, let's look at how we can actually act as an impartial broker to point you in the right direction of what you need today, tomorrow. And it might be, it's a simple recognition of we refer them to the growth hub, which is I just need some advice on what am I going to do about X, Y, and Z. It might be I need some advice that it's going to cost money. It's a commercial venture. That's what you need. I can help you find it. But from the project's point of view, it's very much acting as I don't know where to go. Here's an area to go.
Yeah.
I don't know how to access it. Here's how we'll help you access it. And taking away all that red tape and sort of obfuscation around how do I get from where I am to where I'm going.
People can call us whenever they want, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Call in. The website's up there. digitalfuturefirst.co.uk, sitting there with pages on it. We're adding pages on a regular basis. And it's all sitting there as a impartial, funded to the end user service, which says, where are you? How can we help? What do you need? Let's see if we can broker you into some potential solutions that we're aware of. And it cuts across a whole range. As you said, it could be fully funded support, which helps you deliver your need you weren't aware of. It could be some grants, which are, all right, you get something towards the cost. It could be a commercial arena. Some of the e-commerce solutions are not fully funded. There are grants and there are something where you can get some incentives to support you to develop it. The people side of things are much clearer in terms of, there's a lot of support there from government and it will carry on for the next couple of years. But if you're not aware of it, you don't know where to go. If you don't know how to access it, because it's far too difficult, because there is a lot of red tape around these things, because it's public money. It's your taxes, it's my taxes. And the government has got to make sure that that's done in a way that is done fairly and in a way that's, it's above board and is done in a way that we can show that there's an audit trail, which we do. So from our end, it's saying to company X, as an owner manager, right, where are you now? What needs has your business got? Right, okay.
This is what I was going to say.
Where do I help?
The process. What's the process look like on this thing?
Yeah, I mean, generally the process is pretty much a straightforward one from all points of view. It's, as an employer, not aware of things. So from our end, the first bit is to push out and make you aware or give you that access to awareness, whatever channel we choose to do that, whether it be intermediaries, whether it be social media, whether it just be contacts with our existing networks. Right, I don't know anything about that. Let's have a chat. So I'm sitting here talking to you as an owner manager. All right, what I'm interested in, whatever the service is. I've got a need for my business. I want to grow my e-commerce. I want to grow my sort of digital technology platforms and make sure I can grow my business. Okay, have you got the skill sets internally? No. All right, let me help you. The next stage is to identify the need. The next stage after that is to say, right, we've got access and work with a lot of providers who've got support that could probably help you. We will then look at brokering in one of those providers, and it could be something to do with traineeships, it could be Kickstart Gateway, it could be apprenticeship providers, it could be a straightforward referral sent to the Growth Hub, knowledge transfers. There's lots of services that are available. From your end, we do that work, and we will look at contacting the third-party provider directly to let them know you're interested. We put you in touch with them. We follow the process in terms of, right, these guys are interested in talking about, for instance, apprenticeships. We identify what kind of apprenticeship is. We walk through the process with an employer which says, you need a job description, you need a role. There's a few bits that we talk through specifics about each area as we get to, but the simple process is engage with us, identify a need. We then refer to or broker you or sort of work with a third-party provider. We'll set up a three-way meeting with yourselves, ourselves, and whoever it is we're talking to ensure the fit's correct. If the fit's not correct, we'll find somebody else. We sit here as an impartial brokerage organisation to support you to get what you need to develop your business. So it might be we put you in touch with a provider who's doing apprenticeships. You don't get on, it's not working. All right, let's look at what other apprenticeship providers are until we work it through until you get what you need. From that, they'll work with you to deliver an apprenticeship or whatever it is, services that your business actually requires. We'll keep in touch and make sure it's working for you through our website, through contacts, and through our business advisors. That's pretty much it. From our end, it's fully funded. We don't charge for our services because we're part funded by the European Union. The European Social Fund pays for this, so it's a free to user service, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it should be very much engage, identify, refer, support.